Toxoplasma gondii is a pathogen that's associated with schizophrenia. So
Toxoplasmosis. Okay.
yeah, Toxoplasma gondii is associated with a lot of mental disorder. And again, it is because it's such a serotonin and dopamine affecting bug. In its normal life, it has an association with a cat and a mouse. So it starts life in a cat, and then a cat will kind of poop it out, and mice will eat the cat poop or whatever, but mice get it. When mice get it, it causes the mice to lose their fear of cats. They literally lose their sensitivity to cat urine, their smell, and they kind of get lethargic and they're not scared of cats anymore. So the cats eat them. So it creates this cycle. But again, it turns out Toxoplasma gondii can do the same thing to us. It can begin to alter
Oh.
dopamine and serotonin status and mess with our brains.
So I like this idea of a virus hijacking an animal's nervous system. And you use the case and example of a rat that all of a sudden loses its fear of cats and then becomes food, and that enhances the viral life cycle. Or the rabies virus, which makes an animal salivate and want to bite other things. I think that that's fascinating. And in many ways, these bacteria, whether they're secreting serotonin or the secondary bile acids that you speak of, or you eat the donut. For me, I confession, I have a McDonald's addiction. Now, I don't eat McDonald's every day, but it happens when I'm on a road trip. And I remember when my mom didn't want to cook. My mom didn't want to cook when I was a little teeny kid. She'd take me and my brother to McDonald's and we'd get a cheeseburger and she'd cut it in half and he'd get half and I'd get the other. That's how small I was. But I see those golden arches on a road trip and it makes me, there's an emotional reaction. And when I eat that cheeseburger, or usually I'm not going to say the trademark names anymore. But anyway, so I eat that food, and while I'm seated and eating it, I feel good. But literally, I've observed this 100 times, half an hour, maybe 2 hours later, I have a big problem in my life that I am having trouble dealing with. And where does that problem come from? Does it come from the cheeseburger? Does it come from the bugs? I've just noticed this dozens and dozens and dozens of times. And so I'm starting to link my food with my mental state. And I think that this might be a good way for us to segue into care and feeding of our endocannabinoid system, of how we can maybe modify and enhance our resilience, our willpower, if you want to call it that.
We have such a, and gosh, guys, I hate to, breathe the bearer of bad tidings, but all of us are addicted to food. And again, for that very reason that you just described beautifully, Jake, if you think about your relationship with food, and I was a guy who, I couldn't go 4 hours without eating, right? So I thought I'd die, I really thought I would just, run out of gas and be, so I was that guy. So I was as extreme here as you can possibly be. I was the guy that would eat, when my wife cooked for me, she'd have to cook for 3 or 4 additional people because I ate that much food. So I'm that guy. But I'm now intermittent fast. I eat in a 4-hour window. I eat, maybe
Oh,
1,200,
wow.
1,500 calories a day. I
How
don't
many?
eat 12 to 1,500 calories.
Oh,
I don't eat meat. I still eat sugar, and that's still a thing. I mean, I'll be in the store and I'll be driving down the aisle and I'll look at the cinnamon rolls or I'll look at the, sugary stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I want that. It's a reward. I'm doing so good on the, but
treat
all these,
myself.
right. But think about those mental games. So those mental games are not coming from a place of good health. I know in my mind that sugar is bad for me. Those mental games are coming from dopamine and serotonin hits that those bugs are giving me.